Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sit Still and Listen after we've had a little time off.
Yay!
We've been doing things, which is weird. Anyway, here we are. I'm Beth Cornell, and I'm with my daughter.
Sarah Cornell. Hi, everybody.
And this is Sit Still and Listen.
Yeah. Happy fucking Pride!
So you might guess the theme today is Pride because I got Space Mountain, Pride Space
Happy
Mountain
Pride.
behind me. And Sarah's rainbowed up.
Even my shirt. It's supposed to be the Tide logo, but instead it says Pride. And see what I mean by like the green on this shirt was gonna bleed through? Do you see my background behind my shirt?
it's kind of like my microphone is right here, but it's invisible. But my split screen is.
It kind of works though with the Space Mountain background you got going on.
It's kind of hovery. Yeah, I kind of feel sci-fi right now.
Just don't move too much because you moved that and I saw a big chunk of it.
Yeah, my head is barely being green screened out here.
Yeah, I might be able to fix that in post. We'll see.
Don't worry about it too much. I think our viewers and our listeners are very lenient with us. And by the way, just to mention that a little bit, we've just crossed over 750 downloads.
Thank you guys so much.
And we've reached every corner of this earth that has the ability to hear our podcast.
Wild. Hi, everybody.
Including places like Argentina and Australia, down under.
Oh, we got the down unders, do we?
We do, and all the way on the other side, Iceland, the far northern corners of Europe. So,
jeez,
yeah,
we got everybody.
Of course, Asia. We have quite a few listeners in Japan.
We're probably going to lose a couple with this one.
Thank you, Japan. I don't know about that. So Sarah's leading the discussion today. This is her topic.
Yeah, I chose it because I figured, the world is.
It is.
The world is opening back up a little bit. There's a little bit more hope in the air. You can kind of, you're not clenching your jaw nearly as much. You don't feel the tension headache constantly. You're vaccinated. Yeah. I hope to God you're vaccinated. 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 I can talk today, I promise. You're vaccinated.
Yeah, get vaccinated.
You're still wearing a mask just in case it koozles, because you can still get it even if you got the vaccine. It just means it's not going to kill you. That's basically what it is. And you don't want to die, especially not in the wonderful month of June where there's rainbows everywhere. And everybody's really happy because it's June.
I have a friend who said that rainbows existed before gay people, and that statement is meant to be like, don't appropriate my rainbow. And I'm like, okay.
You don't have to be gay to enjoy a rainbow.
I think that's the meaning, that when they say that, I think that's what that means. Or maybe it means God created rainbows.
Right.
And God didn't create gay people. There's a connotation there that I'm not comfortable with, and I don't argue. I just go, okay. Yeah.
All right, sure. Well, I think that a lot of people, when gay people, when Pride Month just comes up, I feel like there's a lot of straight people who are like, well, I'm proud to be straight. It's like, oh, that's wonderful. That's great. I'm really glad that you're proud to be straight. I will get killed in certain countries if I go there and actively be like, I am a fellow gay. They will kill me. They will, they still like stone people in the street and murder them. And pride parades that are here in the US look really different in places where being gay is not okay. Like Russia, for instance, or Poland. Like those are two countries that come to mind where gay people, it's like,
Well,
Hopefully
and
you can be
and
safe.
I'm here to tell you these are new freedoms for people of my generation.
Yes.
And I don't think people realize um, how easy it would be to slip backward like that. I
Yeah.
mean, we're seeing it kind of with some of the things that are going on with black, brown, and minority people. It's fairly easy to revoke a few laws and be right back where it's legal to do something wrong to somebody. But
So I think that when it comes to laws that are being revoked and like sliding backward and going back on uh, just rights for individuals as gay people, I think that that's absolutely freaking horrifying. And I think that as someone who's grown up pretty much in an age where being gay is pretty socially acceptable, I feel incredibly lucky that I've grown up in such a time where I can be comfortable in who I am and who I love, that I'm not going to die. Do I actively spread it around constantly, like in just regular social situations?
across podcasts.
Well, this is different. This is different. This is much different. If I meet you one-on-one, I don't introduce myself as, like, hi.
Sarah, I'm gay Sarah.
Yeah. Gay Sarah. As opposed to straight Sarah. But I don't introduce myself as like, hi, my name is Sarah Cornell and I'm bi. Like I don't do that. That's not something that I do. But in a social setting of like pride, hell yeah, I'm doing that. I've got the little flag going on, the little pin. I actually couldn't find it. It's not on my pin board, which is sad. So I don't know where that went. I've got like the hat that says "Bye Dad" on it, which again I couldn't find because I was gonna wear it. But I had all this like gay pride stuff that I just couldn't find. I just found my flag, the little mini flag that I got like years ago.
It's probably been 5 years since we went to a pride.
It's been a while. It's been a while, but every time we go,
I have a storied history with Phoenix Pride that I'll talk about later.
Sure. I don't like going because I end up like running into people who I know from like years ago, and like they remember.
It's very cliquey.
Yeah, it's a very like the same kind of people
community.
Go.
Yeah,
yes, the same kind of people go every year, which is a great way to keep up with your friends who you don't really see very often. I know that for a while that's how we were doing it when I graduated from high school, but the thing that happens is those people are still going, which is great. I think that's wonderful. But I don't know these people anymore. Like legitimately, like I don't know your names. Like they're not in here anymore. They're gone. So they come up to me and they're like, Sarah. And I'm like, hey, you? Oh no. And they're like, are you still with Panda? And I'm like, yep. And they're like, oh, okay. And, obviously as a bi woman dating a man kind of gets a little erased. They're like, you're just straight. Nah. No, I'm not. So, but I think that the last time I went with Reggie, I think.
Yeah, we took Reggie.
Yeah.
Because Reggie had never gone.
She'd never gone. And she was 13?
Yeah.
She was really young. Which kind of...
And she was kind of just coming out or something like that.
Yeah, she was exploring, just herself. She wanted to figure out who she was, which that's kind of the years to do it, is like your teenage years and your early 20s, is trying to like lay down who you are as a person. Because as a kid, you kind of know who you are as a child, but after a certain point, puberty hits and you're like, who the hell am I? I don't know who I am anymore, because I used to be this person who played with Bratz dolls and collected Barbies and stuff, but I'm definitely not that person anymore. So who am I? And I think that those years you can spend faffing off and going to prides and figuring out, am I gay? I don't know. Let's go to Pride and find out. Look around. Do I like all the rainbows? Yes. Yes, I do. It's very warm in my sparkly rainbow prison. But that kind of leads me on to like this next point that I had when I did take Reggie, is she was pretty much one of the youngest there. She was very she's a kid. She's just a kid. That's just the way it is. And I was a 20-something-year-old.
There were younger kids there.
Were there?
There were children there. Yes.
Yeah. And well, I mean, I think she was
one of the... you were about 23. And Reg was about 13, 14, yeah.
Yeah, I was about 23. And I bring this up purely because at the very start of June...
I have some film footage of you two, and I will send it to you where you can you can clip some of it.
Editing Sarah, please, for the love of God, double check that before you just decide to blindly put it in there. But when we went, it was really fun. We had a great time. But at the very start of June, they had the internet exploded because somebody was like, I want Pride to be more kid friendly because I want to take my kids to Pride. And I think that
there are areas of it that are very kid friendly.
Yeah. Well, it depends on where you live, I think, and what your Pride looks like. Because I think that New York Pride looks very different from our Pride. And I think California's Pride California's Pride probably looks way different than our Pride does.
Yeah. Disclaimer, we've only been to a couple of Prides, and that would be like Phoenix and Fort Worth.
Yeah, we've only been to like two states.
Which, you know, Fort Worth, Texas is like 2 blocks.
Yeah, and if you think, you know,
it quits after that.
If you think, yeah, and take off all of the rainbow stuff before you go home, so that way your neighbors don't see you wearing rainbow stuff. We've been there. We've lived that. Here in Arizona, it's not nearly as bad, but I've definitely seen, you know, when
it's come through the ages, just, you know,
just
like every other place. Yeah.
But I've definitely seen, you know, when people start to go home, they turn the Pride flag upside down in their backpack, and they, you know, take off all the stickers and wipe off all the face paint that's rainbow and stuff. Like, that's definitely something that still happens out here, but it's definitely, I don't know, you definitely get like the gay bashers who stand on the side of the road during the parade. That's definitely something that still happens out here.
I mean, I feel like for me, that's the part that you want to consider when you take a kid there, because you're going to expose them to that level of hate.
Yeah, it's not
going to be there.
Yeah, it's not what you're going to see inside of Pride necessarily, because most of the time they're going to see some shit. I'm not trying to like say that they're not. They're going to see some weird things, but
you see through the eyes of a child too.
Yeah, you see weird things in the parade too. But again, through the eyes of a child, that weird sexual thing that you're looking at as an adult with, you know, past sexual experiences, that kid doesn't see that. They're not going to see that. They're going to ask you what it is. And you have 2 options. You can either lie to them and be like, well, I don't know what that is. It's just kind of weird, isn't it? Or you could be honest with them and tell them what it is. And I am fortunate enough to have a mom who, if I ask a question, she's going to give me the honest to God answer. So when I was 6 years old and decided to ask where babies came from, that was absolutely a conversation I had at 6. So that was something that I learned. And her logic is, if you're coherent enough and have enough logical thought to ask the question, you have enough logical and coherent thought to accept the answer. So I'm very thankful that my mom thinks I was coherent enough at 6 years old to realize what the hell she was talking about.
You have a body, Sarah.
I do. I hate this thing. It's falling apart.
That's on you at this point. You know, you're an adult, but
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh well.
We won't go into Sarah's younger days. because I have a whole lot to say about that.
Let's just a grand overture. We knew she was gay. That was apparent. It was very clear. She gay. That is a gay child. That is the most gayest thing I think I've ever created with my entire body. That is a gay thing.
Very beautiful child from day one. Very affectionate.
I'll give you affectionate. Beautiful, I'm not going to give you. I look like a fucking raisin.
A green raisin. Yeah. At first.
Yeah.
You were green longer than normal. Yeah. Anyway.
Flea stack baby. Yeah. So the big question that everybody was asking on Twitter, because I'm an internet goblin and that's where I live, was, do children belong at Pride? The shorthand answer, yes. Yes, they do. Of course they do. If you want to bring your kid to Pride, go ahead.
Yeah.
They are going to see things. They will ask you questions. You will have to answer them.
But take the temperature of the Pride too, because like you don't want to go on the main event day or night. I wouldn't say, because people are a little more amped up and there's drinking at Pride.
Yeah.
You know, you want to go. They sometimes have an underage day, night time. I mean, look and see what the schedule is and make a judgment call. I would say the parade is always safe for children, and should take children to the parade because they're going to see a gambit of things that encompass the entirety of the LGBTQ world. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to see everybody.
And they're not just going to see gay people. They're going to see straight allies in the parade. They're going to see famous people in the parade. They're going to see their local leaders, like mayors, perhaps the governor. You know,
not out here.
not out here, but in some states, probably.
Yeah.
You know, we tend to have like radio personalities or TV personalities that are local.
We do.
Occasionally there's a musician or somebody like that's in the parade. My association with it is through art, and
that's why I was like, how the hell do you have a checkered past with Pride? How the hell did you do that? And I'm like,
the reason is, okay, here's the story. Once upon a time in a whole different lifetime ago, we're talking nearly 20 years ago when I first arrived here. Shortly after I first arrived here, I acquired a studio downtown because I really wanted my art to break into the scene that was First Friday at the time. And I felt like the only way I could produce enough art and be there was to rent the studio. So
I love that studio.
I found one, and it was a good one. And I talked to the lady who owned the building, and she was like, you want to do what? Because everybody else in there lived there. It was their apartment. It was an apartment building. And she was like, you know, I have this one that's not finished, because what she was doing was she was taking this historic house, and every apartment in it, I believe there were 6 or 8, had been done by her to a certain century of time. Like she had a 40s one, a 50s one, a 20s one, and mine hadn't been renovated yet. It just still looked like an old room.
It looked really cool though. I remember being a kid and like thinking to myself, when I live in an apartment, I want it to kind of look like this, where it's kind of like old and kind of shit, but like it had like hardwood floors, and like I like the way that sounds on your feet when you walk. So like
it had, you know, a functioning kitchen and bathroom, but everything was as it was when she bought the building.
And it has still. It had that big, huge, it was like a claw-footed bathtub kind of tub. Like I know when we say bathtub, you think like the ones that are like stuck into the wall. No, this thing was like a claw-footed bathtub with like a removable shower head kind of thing. And like I remember being like, I want to live here. Like this is cool.
Well, we did stay overnight down there a few times.
We
had it like a sleepover thing with a couple of your friends a few times.
Sleeping bags. You,
You and
Michaela, yeah.
Michaela, you woke up early and you looked outside and saw somebody peeing in the alley.
Yeah, there was a homeless guy
That's
peeing
what I
behind the
remember
dumpster.
from that. Anyway, it turns out, I didn't know this at the time I rented it, that later on, I always was involved with Pride through the art. They do a special thing for artists where I think they call it artists. I don't know what they call it nowadays, but it was called something. And it was in its own tent, and we
Artist
usually
Alley, I think is what it's called
Artist
now.
Alley. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
That's
But that
that's
could
what it's
be,
called now. I don't know what it was called back then.
yeah, right. And it evolved from painting live things and auctioning them that day to actually selling art and crafts type things. I mean, it was different every year. One year we painted a mural, I want to say. I don't know. I always got involved in it. And through that, I found out that my studio was pretty famous because the magazine Echo, which is Phoenix's gay magazine,
Yep.
Was originated and published and edited and all that through that particular apartment. It was Echo's office. So if you were a part of the Echo publishing team, that's where you went to work.
That's so
so
crazy.
so it was crazy, but that led me to be interviewed by Echo magazine because
I
I was
remember
in their
that.
page. Yeah, and I actually was in their featured artist issue that year for Pride.
I wonder if I
And
could
I have
find that. I'm
I
pretty sure.
I have a whole stack of copies if you want one.
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
take a picture and send it to you.
Sweet.
Anyway, yeah, so I mean, it was great for me for art, for marketing,
Yeah, it's a
for
fantastic opportunity.
being embraced by a community. And even prior to that, I would go to the parades. I took Sarah to the parades. I did things with the church. I was part of a Unitarian church. They were very active.
Mm-hmm.
And my
Which is
neighbor's
really
daughter, we took
weird
her
because
one year.
I live across the street from that church these days. which feels
Yes, you do. Yeah.
really, really weird. It just feels kind of weird.
Anyway, so in and out, it came in and out of my life quite a bit throughout the whole entire time I've been in Phoenix. And Pride is not something I think, oh, it's not good. I think it's very good. They give out a ton of money through scholarships, and just they give people opportunity to volunteer,
Yep.
and gain skills, just in arts and music alone. Just that alone is just huge.
Yeah,
Every year.
again, like, I'm not really sure how other prides are in other states, but at least here, there's a big giant, basically empty field that's in the middle of downtown Phoenix that they set up in every year, and the parade route leads into this huge park, and they set up this huge freaking stage, and starting at around like 5 o'clock, they start having bands play on the stage basically all night long. And there's food and beer, and you can just party, and like they play the YMCA a whole bunch, which I think is absolutely hysterical. And considering
and every year people go early, like they'll let you in at like
oh,
noon
yeah.
or 2 o'clock,
Oh no,
and
they'll let you in.
They're passed
They'll
out dead to the world by 5.
Yep.
Because it's hot here.
It's
And
very
they always have it in April. It's hot. It's super hot. One year we were painting, live painting. The paint was drying on the brush. It was 104 degrees.
Yep.
And one year they tried to lure us artists in by saying we're going to have an air conditioned tent. Like you can air condition a tent. It was
like
not
a swamp cooler.
No, it was just a fan. It was a giant industrial fan, but that was it.
No, there was no way. I remember the year we took Reggie. I remember that being really, really hot. I think it was like 100 and
it was hot. Yeah.
It was like, I think it was 112 by noon.
So with Corona, they've moved it to October. I think that might be better.
Dude, yeah, it is. My birthday's in October. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be in October or November. I mean, it's really late in the year.
October.
Yeah.
Oh my God, if it's on my birthday, that would be so freaking cool.
Well, it'd be something to do, that's for sure.
Hell yeah, it would be. I could write it on my sign. I could write, I'm gay, I'm proud. Also, it's my birthday.
Yep.
Yeah, on this day today, I was born gay. There you go. I thought of a better one. But,
oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I see it become more commercialized, to kind of segue into another topic that Sarah and I have discussed prior to this podcast that we wanted to bring up, is just, this year in particular, it's everywhere.
I think it's because you're noticing it for the first time. It's everywhere typically, but
really?
The thing, yeah, it really is. Like, I know Target is like the only one that really goes hard with
I've only ever noticed it at Target. But maybe I don't get around much.
I know that Walmart doesn't. We have a story about the Walmart thing. We'll get to it. I could see you got really antsy there. Walmart doesn't typically have any, at least not out here, except with the exclusion of this year, because what the hell. But the other like ones that I know of, Barnes and Noble does gay pride stuff. They promote books that were made by gay authors and trans authors and stuff like that, which I think is fantastic. You yourself are promoting the great Mickey lie that they accept gay people. They don't. they don't. There's not a single gay character except for in Onward, and it was
gay characters, yes, but I know many people work as cast members.
Yeah, who are gay, which is fantastic, and I think that their new uniform policy is absolutely amazing. That's fantastic. You're accepting more people in your place of work. That's great. That's wonderful. Thank you. As a gay person, thank you. I can now go work there with this weird ass fucking cut I got. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, you work in a workplace that's very inclusive.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, my new job. I feel like it's parade day every single day when I go to work. There are rainbows and gay people everywhere. It's awesome. And my workplace is just kind of like rainbow explosivo. It's awesome. It's very, I don't feel like I'm having to, tiptoe around stuff. And people will probably make the argument that like, oh, you're dating a man, you don't have to tiptoe around it. And it's like, yeah, but that doesn't matter so much. Like, I have a good cover, I guess, is what people could say. But like, that doesn't erase the fact that I'm gay. Please don't buy erasure is bad.
There's always been a visibility factor with that particular.
I imagine it with pan people as well, and I feel like
yeah, but I don't know. Eventually, it's just who you love. Who do you love? Period.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people would probably be like, "You're pan," and not actually bi because of the way that I describe.
I, as an older person, have a bit of trouble with the gender identity thing when it comes to the non-binary.
They, them. There you go.
Okay, but it makes me question my own, because let me tell you.
Well, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not about to go by they, them, but I'm definitely not all one. Or I'm both. I'm sorry. And that's a spiritual thing. Ding me if you want. But we're all both. All of us.
Yeah.
Every single one of us. Some of us are just identifying more with one or the other. But take a look at this. This is both. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hit my mic.
No.
and so when I hear that, I'm thinking, when you were in your mama's womb.
Oh, good. All the way back here, are we?
Well, you got to go where the source is.
Sure.
Yeah. okay, we were all female until some of us decided to be male.
Yeah. Also, a weird fact: males are the genetic freaks of our society. Just kind of letting you know, the reason their chromosomes are like
Obviously,
that is because the Y chromosome is just a fucked up X. So that's why
yeah.
when men have chromosomal issues, it's a bad thing because they can't get it fixed. When women have chromosomal issues, typically if one chromosome is fine, you can end up fixing the other one because it's just a duplicate of the first one. So, yay, science! But again,
I get that it's like an emotional whole thing, it's an experiential emotional. It's not just your biology and your physiology. It's on many levels.
yeah.
They feel non-binary or binary, as the case may be. I get that, but to examine yourself in that way, I guess is no different than saying who you prefer to be having sex with.
Yeah. It's the way that you want to be addressed. Like,
Yeah,
if
but
I
when you think about it, when you really think about it, you could do that with a lot of other things too.
yeah, and is that a bad thing? I don't
I
think it
don't know.
is.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think
It's not looking at life through a diffuse lens in its broad spectrum. It's looking at it through a very focused, narrow pinhole. And
but it's not
okay,
it's
I'm
the
going to catch a lot of hell for saying that,
well,
but
well, the other thing too is like they're not using that very thin spectrum lens to aim it on society at large. They're not trying to do that. They're aiming it at themselves. It's introspection. It's looking inside themselves and saying, do I, as a person, like to be called by these pronouns? If the answer is no, then the next logical question is why? And the other question after that is, what should I do about it? So if they're not aiming those questions at the world at large, they might ask very politely, I use they, them pronouns, or I prefer she, her pronouns, or he, him pronouns. And you, as a person, have, who has a conscience and decent morality and ethics, has to look at that situation and say, I am going to respect this person by using they, them, he, she, him, her, like the pronoun.
which I absolutely do. However, I think my beef comes in the fact that I'm not going to turn that pinhole lens onto myself,
No one's
because if I
asking you to.
did, I'd have to say they, them, or sir. I like to be called sir.
Well, first of all, no one's asking you to.
Yeah,
No one
I
is
get
asking
that.
you to turn that lens onto yourself. That's not something that anybody is asking of you. It's just like we as gays don't ask the straights to get gay married. You as a straight person, you don't have to get gay married. You don't. That's fine. You can be straight married. That, in fact, that's probably what you prefer. But you don't have to turn that lens on yourself. That's purely an introspection thing. It comes from you. It doesn't come from anywhere else. And if you were to do that, mother, I would absolutely respect your decision. I would.
Well, don't call me mother then.
Okay,
I want to be
fine,
called.
father,
I want to
mother.
be
Like, what do you
called.
want?
No, no. I want to be called Darth Sidious.
Darth Sidious, sure.
Like my T-shirt.
Yeah,
It's
it's
from
good.
Galaxy's Edge. I'm still wearing it today. I know you saw me wear it yesterday, but I put it back on for this podcast.
This shirt that I'm wearing today doesn't fit. This is from when I was in high school.
Yeah, I know. That's an old one.
It's a really, really old shirt. I'm actually surprised that it fits as well as it does, to be honest. Like,
I think you've lost some weight over the last couple months.
It's not the weight I'm concerned about. I didn't have as much cleavage as I did back in the day, and I've definitely grown a set. So it's definitely a little tight around the chest. I don't need to be wearing a bra right now. Let's just put it that way. It's very tight. But I think that the pronouns thing, just fucking respect people. And if you want to think about it, you think about it. I've thought about it. I'm like, do I really like being called a girl?
Well, Reggie's a they them.
Yeah. Yes.
And I've managed to kind of do it, but sometimes I forget.
I fuck it up all the time. And I feel really bad about it. I really do.
Well, when
I
you're
fucked it up
used to
earlier. I know I
saying
did.
she, her, your whole life, then making that switch takes time. I think meeting somebody new would be easier to get them to call you that than the people who've known you your whole life, who's been she, her, and you the whole life.
Yeah.
It's harder for them to remember it, first of all, because you're not seeing that child through that tiny pinhole. You're seeing that whole thing, that whole progression towards that, maybe. But yeah.
It's
but
a
yeah,
lot.
it's all good. It's all good.
And the other thing too is like it's a gray area, much like with everything with gay issues and gay stuff. Like some people, like I know plenty of gay people who are like, can we stop it with the pronouns, please? And I'm like, why? There's literally, it doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or
I'm
form.
not saying stop it. I'm just saying,
I know you're not. I'm saying other
I think
people
older people aren't going to ever go there. Maybe I'm wrong.
They've never
in the
had
comments, tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh God.
Yeah, because
that's a
I'm just
cesspit down there, and you know it.
Well, we never get comments, so I'm hoping
we will now.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just think older people are just happy to be able to say they're gay. Period.
Yeah, and
and
like
not be fired, disowned, pummeled, killed. Yeah.
And
or legally, excluded from whatever they want to do.
Refused service, refused medical attention,
refused marriage, refused everything.
Yeah,
right.
It's not great. It's been really horrible and hard. And like I said,
it's a contrast for me to be in this moment in time when our president's going abroad trying to project leadership and, we're back. Okay, what does that mean? Is that a good thing or not? It's a very fluctuating time period for me. Like, are we going to be the good guy? Or were we ever the good guy?
No,
is more the question.
We weren't. I mean,
what are we going to be going forward in the future? What can we be? I don't know if I want to say America's back. I don't think that's actually a great message.
I want to say that at the end of the day, America's going to try to be the good guy, but inevitably we will not be, because
historically we haven't been.
And the fact that, a lot of people don't know history, like they just don't, and it's not their fault that they don't
want to know. They don't want to know history.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's just a pure ignorance of it even existing. That's the thing. Like with gay issues, and when people say, Stonewall was a riot, it was. It was. And people don't know that, because now all they see is happy, lovely gay people celebrating the fact that they can in confidence walk down the street in an enormous group and not be attacked by passerbys or people who are watching. They don't have
They still get attacked, Sarah.
Yeah, I know they do.
Were you not seeing all the police protection that parade had?
The fact that people see, Pride as it is now, where it's a celebratory thing, basically. It's like a giant music festival with rainbows everywhere. In other places, it's not. It's not like that at all. It's a literal riot with rainbow stuff everywhere. And people are actively fighting to go stand in those streets. It's very much like a protest that very quickly escalates into a riot due to police violence. So
that's in other countries, yes.
In other countries, and I don't doubt that sometimes it happens here too.
In the Southeast, I'm sure there are a few that
it happens
get
too.
like that.
It happens here too. We can't erase the fact that there are probably other states that are here in the good old US of A that absolutely gay bash the shit out of some queer folk.
It's kind of funny. In my adult life, I moved to the Southeast right away, and I saw the Klan parades. I mean, every year through Macon, Georgia,
That would scare
and
me
in
so
other.
much.
It was kind of scary. I mean, yeah, definitely, I can say
I
that.
couldn't live there. Mm-mm.
And and knowing the people I worked with were, also very bigoted and
Blatantly homophobic and racist.
definitely discriminatory, and not just against blacks, against women too. Hello, I worked for them, and then moving through those lower states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, spent a lot of time there in Texas, lived in Texas for 5 years in Dallas, Fort Worth area, which you would think is a little more progressive because it's a big city. Not so much
It's a city made by
rode
Republicans, so
rode a motorcycle there with a group of women who were weren't advertising they were gay. I'm sure several of them were. In fact, I know two of them were.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mom, I was a child, and I was like, that is a gay woman. That is a gay woman.
Yeah, we rode with them. The long story short, they didn't like me very much. Anyway, they didn't like my behavior, actually. That's what got them upset. I had a good time. The thing of it was, even in those situations, there were times where we felt afraid, and we actually considered somebody to carry a gun. That was voted down. I was glad, but the pepper spray idea did persist, and I think some ladies did carry pepper spray. But we were threatened by white men in pickup trucks. We were threatened by the Klan when we went to a town who had a history of the Klan, and
That
we
was
had a rally
terrifying
there.
because I think I was
And
there
I
for
took
that.
Sarah with me.
Yeah,
I took Sarah with me.
I was there for that.
It was a bad weekend and a good weekend. It was kind of a mix.
It was very fun.
It was
I don't.
educational.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. I didn't think that people could hate me just for being a girl, but that's apparently a thing. And like to learn that at like
Yeah.
5, to learn that at
Yeah.
5, like
There were assumptions drawn about this women's motorcycle group riding into town and staying at a bed and breakfast all together for a weekend. There were assumptions drawn, and they were afraid that the Klan would rally and come at us because the weekend before they had rallied because they were supporting a white man who drug, or a couple of white men who drug a black man to death behind a pickup truck. And you can look this up. It was in 95, I believe.
Yep.
Or was it in 2000?
It was in, well, if I was 5, it would have had to have been in no. I was born in 1993. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1999. 1998.
It was okay, somewhere around in there. Yeah.
If I'll look for
Jasper, Texas. Just look up incident where man was drugged in Jasper, Texas. We were having our bike rally there the weekend after the Klan rally. We didn't know anything about what had happened.
It was like we got there and the local officials came up to us and were like,
and
hey,
said, we're your escort for the weekend. So I do appreciate police protection, and I do appreciate that they are upholding the law and our right to be. And at that point, we were just being women on motorcycles, like that's so unheard of out here in Phoenix. Like you see women riding by themselves all around, free as a bird. I mean, I did it out here. I did it in Texas too, though. So I did it in
with
Alabama.
Me, with me,
in Georgia.
With tiny
with
little,
you, yeah.
with little tiny baby Sarah.
I wasn't really afraid of it, but it was there. And people who lived there were afraid of it.
There are places here that I don't feel comfortable driving by myself in a car.
Same.
Yeah.
There are certain places people have told me, don't come here.
Yeah, both as a woman and as a white woman driving through places, I don't feel safe. There are places in Arizona where it's just like you don't go there by yourself. If you do, you bring a man because that way you're not gonna get in trouble. But
so the whole idea of human rights gay rights are human rights. Women's rights are human's rights.
Mhm.
Black people's rights are all people's rights. I mean, that makes sense because if one of us isn't free, none of us are free.
Yeah.
And any time the tables can be turned on somebody like that legally, it's one more step towards something really bad happening,
Yeah.
in my
Backsliding.
opinion. Yeah,
There's a
backsliding.
term for it, and it's backsliding, and backsliding can be like, slapped on anything. The one that I see the most is like backsliding democracy. That's like the one that I hear the most, where like there is a typically democratic country, and not like they're run by Democrats. No, it's a democracy, just like we have here in the United States, and it ends up going towards fascism or totalitarianism, dictatorships, that kind of thing. And those are not very good for women of color, gay people, gay women of color, gay men of color.
Who are they good for?
White, straight, cis men. That's it. And I'm so sorry, white, straight, cis men.
Do you feel that white, straight, cis men are a minority in our population right now?
Yes.
I kind of do.
Yeah, they are.
And I think that's why we're seeing like a rearing up of really bad.
They are, because this
really bad policies, really bad laws, really bad behavior on their part.
Those, I don't want to bash on straight cis dudes too much, because
I do.
not all cis straight hetero men or whatever, because some of those fuckers are our allies too. Like,
except for the allies.
Except for the ally. There you go. There's an exception. There's the people who genuinely want to help and genuinely want to support gay people and their right to exist, and the women's right to have autonomy and control over the flesh prison that they inhabit, and not have some asshole making laws doing it for them. That's just not right. It's not fair. It's gross.
Men should never make laws about women.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
And vice versa, for God's sake.
If it's strictly a women's issue, a women's health issue, it should be made by women, and it may be medically inclined women. Even.
There you go. I was going to say, don't say just women, because there are women who don't oppose this thing. There are women who are like, you should be subservient to your husband, and purely your husband, by the way. You can't be gay. It's forbidden. No gay.
It's just like pronouns. You can't force the world to be like that.
Yeah, you can't. So medically inclined women might be better.
Once you let women out on society, you let them have their freedom, their jobs. You don't tie them to a washing machine.
Or the kitchen.
Or a scrub board down by the creek. Or a kitchen. Or, farming, or whatever it was in the past that women were tied to.
Baby making, typically.
Baby making. Yeah. Once you do that, things are going to change. And it's not going to go the way you think it is.
Yeah, no.
And
they're not going to be nice to you either. Like that's the thing that
no. They were never really nice to you to begin with.
That's the thing. Like, that's what gets me the most, is like when guys are like, women can be really mean, and it's like, yeah, of course they can. Have you seen what had been done to them? Like, not only not even historically speaking, just like within the last 4 years of that woman's life, it's
women are 90% mean and 10% not mean. If you're getting the 10% not mean, you're a very special man. You're a very special person. Mm-hmm. Enjoy it, because the rest of the women you meet, you're going to end up with that 90% mean.
They hate you. They just do. And they might not outwardly say it, and it might not be like I actively despise this person, but there's definitely
and that has nothing to do.
There's an arm's length that's held there.
It has nothing to do with rainbows. And that just has to do with being men and women. and the roles that are forced upon us through society.
Most of my guy friends, I should say, were raised in a house that is dominated by women. I should say that because let's see, Tyler, he was raised by his sister and his mom, so female dominated household. Christian, he had his mom and his 3 sisters, female dominated house. And like in because of that, they're really, really sympathetic towards, you know, women's everything, because they've had to look at their mom and look at their sisters and watch them go through it and realize, oh dear God, not only is that affecting them, but this affects me too. And like, not only is like their brother as their son, but like this is also going to affect me as a person later down the line, because I'm going to see this happen to another girl in my life and not be okay with it. So when they graduate into adulthood, they get to be a better human being. Yay. Because they understand that women have problems, and their problems aren't, oh, I broke a nail, oh, my shoes don't match my shirt. Like, it's those aren't problems. The problems is when I go to the doctor, like, I sometimes can't get birth control. So yeah, that hasn't happened yet, but you know, there's time.
Thank goodness. Praise Jesus.
Yay. Why you gotta bring him into this?
That Jesus, he's a hell of a guy. He's in everyone's marriage bed. Do you know that?
That's disgusting.
You can't get married unless Jesus is there.
That's not real.
It's real. Me and Tim, we had to have a conference with a pastor, but who wouldn't marry us unless we had this series of conferences with him. And that was one of the points that he brought up.
That's so gross. Is it the equivalent of like a white high school dance where like you have to keep, you know, you have to leave room for Jesus while you're dancing? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Ew.
There shouldn't be anybody between you and your husband except Jesus.
Ew.
He's into threesomes.
Jesus is into threesomes. Beth Cornell 2020. I would like that on a shirt.
Well, it's actually 2021, baby. You missed a year.
Oh my God. It would sound like something you would say in 2020, though.
Yeah. Well, because 2020 happened, I said that in 2021. Yeah.
I want to talk more about trans issues, but because I myself am not a trans person, and neither are you, I feel like neither of us are equipped to handle such a task.
I've known a few trans people, though.
So have I.
Yeah. I'm an ally to trans people.
Yeah. Trans rights. Sit still and listen says trans rights.
And I've known people prior to their transition, during their transition, and after their transition. I've known people from all 3 stages, and you know, they need a lot of support.
Yeah. They just
social support, and it's hard to know how to give that, I think, to a trans person. And that's one of the things that having more people ally trans people, that they would have that if more people would just, you know, be open to knowing and befriending somebody who's in one of those areas of their life. I think that, I don't know why right now that this is a huge subject, and it never was before, but there have been trans people all through time.
Yeah. It's, well, you know, I think
and there are also people who are called intersexed, and they literally are not fully formed men or women, or, you know, physically they have the characteristics of both in some respect. And one of my artist friends is that, and she shared that with me pretty early on in our friendship, and it didn't really change anything for me except to see where those folks don't have a voice and they struggle
Mm-hmm.
because they're not male or female totally, one or the other. And that might be where the non-binary thing would label would really be beneficial. I don't know, but that's a different thing because that's gender. That's
Well,
not
and
physical characteristics.
the other thing too is it's a personal choice.
It
Those things
is.
are
All of
personal
it.
choices.
All
It's
of it
very
is. I just think we're all so different that it's hard to really, these labels peel off pretty easy, you
well,
know?
yeah, of course they do, because you as a person change. And I think
Yeah.
that's the beauty of
And
it,
you're
though.
this way for a little while and then you're that way. And there's
That
nothing wrong with that.
that's the beauty of it, though, is you get
Yeah.
to, change up those labels. Like, I mean, and who cares? Like, just label yourself how you want to be labeled, make it known. And if in 2 years you're like, that ain't right, let's change it, go ahead.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I explained my label, which, by the way, white cis woman. Okay, I had a message on my gaming channel asking me if I was a transgendered woman, and I think it might have been because of my hair. I don't know. I'm not a transgendered woman. I am a cis woman. I just want to make that.
You'd be a super cute guy, though.
I would be. I know I would be. You know who'd make a really cute girl? Tyler. Tyler would make the cutest girl. Yeah.
He's kind of girly.
He is. He's adorable. But I had a message. They misgendered me. Not a problem. It's all good. They messed up a label somewhere. No problem. I corrected them. No big deal. I was describing my my bi-ness. The reason, like, I call myself bi. I like everybody. It doesn't matter. If I like you, I like you. You're a special kind of person because I like you, and I don't really like anybody. I fucking hate everybody. Like, it's really hard for me to like somebody. So I described it that way, and my friend was like, "You're pan. That's pan." And I'm like, I mean, I guess it is. And by definition, sure. Like, I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you transitioned, realized it wasn't what you wanted, and transitioned out. I don't care about that. Like, I don't care about, your pronouns. I don't care about any of that. So long as the attraction is mutual and it's consensual, perfect. We're good to go. But apparently that's pan, which is wonderful. That's great. But I personally choose to dub myself as a bi woman because I've done so since I was about 13 years old, and I like that label. It fits a little bit better for me in my brain.
Yeah, nobody else can ID you. It's a self-identity.
Yeah, and also, like,
people can tell you who you are till the cows come home.
mm-hmm.
Tell them to go pack sand. You're who you say you are.
It was never like she never wanted it to be like, I need you personally. I personally need you to identify as pan. No, that's not the case. It was more along the lines of what you're describing as pan. Do you realize that? And I did have introspection. I thought about it for a while. I was like, wow, that there's a word for that now, because back in the day when I was 13, I'm going to say that I had never heard of someone who was pan until probably my mid-20s, like early 20s, mid-20s. So, and at the time I read the description of it and went, okay, cool. Sounds good. And then it wasn't until she put it into perspective for me that, like, I could be pan. And I'm like, interesting. I'll think about it. I thought about it, realized I much preferred the bi title. Because, again, it's something... It's like my name. I like my name. I know that there's a lot of people out there who don't like their names and often change them, but I like my name.
Well, so to look forward a little bit, Sarah and I are trying to get this train back on its track. Speaking of train wreck, we've kind of been lax because somebody's been very busy, and it's not been me. It's been Sarah.
It's been me.
Yeah.
I've been busy.
So we're gonna do a trip next month. So we're planning to podcast during that trip. Yeah, we're going to go to Hershey Park. We're visiting some family in Pennsylvania. Then later in the year, we're going to Universal Studios Orlando, which we've never been to.
So
And
excited
then
to go to
we're
the
gonna
Harry Potter land. I'm
we're gonna
sorry I
spend
have to give money to J.K. Rowling, the transphobe, but I really want to go.
well, yeah, come on now. And we'll probably be doing a Harry Potter one around that. And then we're also spending 4 days in Walt Disney World, where we're going to attend a Boo Bash, and it's the 50th anniversary of Magic Kingdom.
Really?
Yeah, at the same time, basically. So there was that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
They've already decorated the castle quite a bit for it. And
I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it.
They're going to have a special fireworks and, the whole 9 yards that month.
They're going to have fireworks again?
I believe starting on the 4th, there's a rumor. Yeah. And inevitably, as soon as I hear the Carnation Cafe is open, we're going to take a weekend trip to Disneyland.
Those fried pickles.
So the podcasting is going to get a little more outside of this realm. Hopefully, we'll be able to handle it. Hopefully. But we're busy the rest of the year. Yeah.
Yep. We're picking up steam in terms of
doing.
Yeah. Doing.
Rather than just being, we're doing. So we've cut down on being just quite a bit.
It's kind of nice. Being for a year sucked.
For a whole year, it was hard. The inertia to move is hard after not being moving. I mean, it feels like everything's going at lightning speed. I don't know about for you, Sarah. You're young. You've been working for almost a year. I've been working from home, and
I imagine that if you were working from home at the start of the pandemic until just now, or maybe a month or two prior to now, I feel like the leaps in what you're able to do and how you're able to do them has changed significantly. And I feel like it's probably moving really quickly.
It feels like it's moving quickly. And I just hope that, we stay safe and we don't have to have too much more
a relapse or something dreadful.
Yeah, or more shots or whatever.
I don't mind a booster shot. I'm fine with that. Give me the booster in 6 months or whatever. That's fine. But I don't want to have to keep getting fucking boosters. I don't want to have to do that.
And to expand ahead a little more, we do have a trip planned for Alaska in 2022. And we have several things that we want to do that haven't been booked yet, and that's another trip to Japan, Germany, Italy, Greece, Spain, France, that whole Mediterranean area.
I'm so excited for Italy. I'm so excited.
And then also British Isles kind of tour. That's something that's in the works as well.
Damn.
It has been for a while, but it's never hasn't got moved to the top of the pile.
Can Germany and Japan supersede all that? And
it does. In fact, right now Germany's winning out above everything.
Damn! I was hoping Japan would win. Damn it!
Well, you can take yourself to Japan anytime you want.
No, I can't. They're closed off to us. Those borders aren't open yet. I gotta wait.
And that's why Germany's up on top, because I think we're gonna get to go there first. Okay, audience. This has been your second episode of 2021. Sit Still and Listen with me and Sarah. Love you, Sarah.
Love you too, Mom.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.
Peace. I can't make it.
You can. You gotta make this shape. Here, I got an easier one. There you go. Make this shape. You make the same shape. You put it together, and it's a heart. You gotta spread out your fingers. No, these fingers. Open up your hands. Open up your hands all the way. All the way. All the way open. All the way open. There you go. He'll point your thumbs. Point your thumbs.
I can't see what I'm doing. That's part of the problem.
Oh.
Oh, okay. There we go. Isn't there a different one? It's like...
Yeah, the BTS one.
I can't even do it. My hands are wrangled. I've typed and played the guitar and done way too many things with these hands.
By the way, I know nothing about BTS. I know nothing about BTS. I just know that, like...
I know that they have a McDonald's 10 nugget meal that's exactly a McDonald's 10 nugget meal. You could say, I would like the BTS meal. Guess what you're going to get? A 10 nugget meal.
You know what I saw on Twitter this morning? It made me fucking laugh. I'm sorry, K-pop stans. I think every single one of you are amazing. You are fantastic. You did some amazing work over the last 4 years to deal with our president and the Proud Boys and literally everything else. You're spectacular. But they are selling because McDonald's has like the promotional bags that say BTS meal on them. They're selling those on eBay for like hundreds of dollars to each other.
I believe it. And I think some of the merchandise, like the little cards that were supposed to be in there, nobody's getting them.
Yeah.
And even the sauces, I mean, there's 2 separate different sauces you can pick for this meal. And I don't know. I don't get into McDonald's culture or BTS, although I'm for what they stand for. Me and them are just like the same thing, you know, peace, love. I find that around.
I find K-pop culture just incredibly interesting. Like just watching, you know, that subculture.
We ought to do a podcast about things we don't know, like K-pop, and just like talk about things we don't know about.
And just speculate. I don't think that would be a good thing.
No, we should do research and then talk about it like after we educate ourselves. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Like I'll pick a subject I don't know about. You pick a subject you don't know about.
And then we teach each other about the subject.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I see what you're stabbing at.
That would be an interesting podcast. Okay, so until next time. Love you, Sarah.
Love you too, Mama.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Happy Pride.